Hello and welcome back to the Human Manual. I am your host Ankit. How are all of you? So today we will be discussing from text 21 till text 22 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe to it and press the like button if you're liking my videos, and also press the notification bell if you would like to get new notifications about my new videos. And therefore, before we continue, we shall pray. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjanasalakaya Chaksasurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So we will be discussing from text 21 till text 22 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where now comes the moment where Arjuna starts conversing with Lord Krishna. The epic moment has arrived and we shall witness the mystery to get unfolded. So before wasting any time, let us start from text 21 and text 22 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Arjun Uvacha Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapaye Mechuta Yavad Etan Niriksheham Yodhu Kaman Avasthitan Kairmaya Sadha Yodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Purport: although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy he was engaged in the service of his friend. Who was his friend? Arjuna. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. Infallible means in Sanskrit achyuta, who never fails. So in this text, in this particular text, it is mentioned as Ratham Sthapaye Me Chuta. Lord Krishna never fails to love his devotees, to care for his devotees, to protect his devotees, and therefore he is also known as Achyuta, who never fails. As a charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. As he had taken the role of a charioteer for Arjuna, and therefore he is also known as Parth Sarthi. Parth is Arjuna, and Sarthi is the charioteer of the chariot. So he was the charioteer of Arjuna, Parth. Therefore, he is also known as Parth Sarthi. And as a charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna. And since he did not hesitate to do so, here also he is therefore termed as infallible, someone who never fails. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. Although he had taken up the role of being a charioteer for his dear devotee Arjuna, but it doesn't mean that his supreme position of being the Supreme Personality of Godhead was being challenged. He was still the God, but it was giving him pleasure to serve his pure devotee. Instead of giving orders to him, instead of giving orders to his devotee, sometimes Lord takes pleasure in taking orders from his pure devotee. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Rishikesh, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to his devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. So what do we see here in this text? Even though he is the supreme master of everyone, he is the one who gives order to everyone. But since a pure devotee is ordering him, and instead of, he takes more pleasure in taking the orders from his pure devotee rather than he giving the orders to them. He gets the transcendental pleasure in taking the orders from his devotee. Therefore, we see that how Krishna has accepted the role of a charioteer in this Mahabharata, in this Bhagavad Gita. He has taken the charioteer. He has become the Sarthi of Arjuna, and he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. So, when we are seeing that he is taking up the role of a charioteer, it doesn't mean that his position of being the master of the whole creation is being challenged. It is just that it is giving him pleasure to serve his pure devotee. It is giving him transcendental pleasure to serve his pure devotee. Therefore, he has accepted this position. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. We can see a point to be noted. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers. Now, because someone who is a very pure devotee of the Lord, he doesn't have any material attachment with anything. Whatever he has, whatever material possessions he has, he uses those possessions to serve the Lord. He doesn't use those possessions for his own sense gratification. That is the difference between a karmi and a devotee. A karmi is always involved in exploiting the things for his own sense gratification, whereas a devotee uses whatever he has to serve the Lord. By serving the Lord, he gets the transcendental pleasure, which is eternal, which cannot be lost. Whereas a karmi, whatever he does for his own sense gratification, it is always temporary. It will always be lost, and that is what actually gives the dukkhalayam aswasatam. That is you get when you try to serve your own senses instead of serving the senses of Lord Krishna. Because Lord Krishna is the root of everything. When you give water to the root of the plant, every leaves and flowers, branches, everywhere the water reaches. So everything gets satisfied in the whole structure of a tree or plant. But if you just give water to the leaves or to the branches or the flowers or wherever may be, but not to the roots, then the plant would not be able to survive itself. So where does the water need to go? It needs to go to the roots. So a devotee is always concerned of serving the roots. So who is the root, actual root of everything? Lord Krishna is the root of everything. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has created all this creation, and everything, whatever we do, whatever we are doing, is under His supervision. So when we serve Him, everyone gets pleased, because when He gets pleased, everyone is pleased. Because we are also part and parcel of Him. We are also Satchitananda. So when He is pleased, we also get pleased. So that is the difference. And because he was a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna was a pure devotee of the Lord, he didn't wanted to fight with the Duryodhana and his brothers, because Arjuna didn't have any desire of creating all these messes and having all the possessions for his sense gratification. Because he is already satisfied, because he is serving Lord Krishna. But for dharma, he had to fight with them. So therefore in this text it is written as a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhan, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war. So here we can see, although there was no question of peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again. Arjuna wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding this unwanted war. This war was simply unwanted, but just because of Duryodhana's evil character, of his evil nature, of possessing over all of the things, all the possessions in the world. He wanted to be king of the world, and because obviously he was like an asura, he had the nature of an asura. Therefore, he wanted to win all over the world, and people like these are very selfish. They don't care about what they don't care about anyone else, and therefore in any case Duryodhan wanted to win this war, and he had told the Pandavas that I will not give you even a pinch, the area equal to the tip point of a nail or a pin. I will not even give you that amount of area to rule upon. The Pandavas were not asking them to give huge amount of land or area to rule over. Because they were Kshatriyas, they had to do this. Pandavas were Kshatriyas. Anyone who is a Kshatriya at that time, they must rule over a place or where they can protect the citizens and they can protect the people. So it was the dharma, it was the dharma of the Pandavas to get a land to rule. So they were not demanding so much of land, but Duryodhan was adamant to not even give a point, the tip point of a nail, area equal to tip point of a nail to them. And therefore this war had to be fought. Anyways, Duryodhan was a dharmic person. So anyways, he had to be eliminated. And that's why the battle of Kurukshetra was fought. So this was obviously an unwanted war because of the nature of Duryodhan. So that's it from the text 21 till text 22 of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We will see you soon from the text 23, and till then, bye bye.